Sending something overnight from the La Crosse Post Office will soon be a thing of the past. The U.S. Post Office announced today that La Crosse is one of roughly 250 processing facilities that will be closing. News 8's Pauline Lee is here now with how these changes will impact our area.
This is the Postal Service's intent to close the facility. What it means is that all the mail here would be moved to St. Paul, processed, and then headed to its final destination. But the La Crosse Post Office will still be open for things like retail. The change would mean not only slower mail, but a loss in jobs.
The internet doesn't go to every single corner of the country. The post office does.
The La Crosse Post Office is bracing itself for possibly some big changes in the future.
Slightly scary, I'm sure, for the people whose bids are going to be affected by this. They may have to relocate facilities.
After a study conducted for about the past 5 months, the Postal Service announced today a potential plan to close and move roughly 250 processing facilities. That would mean no more overnight mail service here in La Crosse and no more jobs for nearly 30 people. It's a potential savings of about $2.5 million a year. But Martin Mader of the American Postal Workers Union says it's not just the workers who will be affected.
Well, if you lose those jobs, you lose all that income that those people spend around the community. So it has a financial effect on the community as well. The impact will be felt. There'll be ripples through the local economy.
Mader worries these decisions may be the beginning of the end of the Postal Service.
My fear is if the Postal Service continues by eliminating service, reducing service, cutting the ability of people to use the service, eventually it'll just disappear, and those who need it won't have it anymore.
Carlene says this isn't the first time the post office has had to make changes to processing mail, but the Postal Service isn't going anywhere.
And it's a constitutional mandate that we provide that service. Doesn't necessarily mean we have to provide it overnight, but we will provide it and we'll always be here.
And again, these are still just proposals. The later announcements, the final announcements, will come early this summer, and even if the processing plant here in La Crosse does close, you can still go to the post office to buy stamps, send mail, and use the mailboxes here.
All right, thank you, Pauline. The plan is part of $1 billion in cuts for the Postal Service, which has been suffering financially recently.